Hello everyone. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at operator overloading. Now, if you thought polymorphism was getting a little weird, it's about to take a turn. Operator overloading allows you to change the default behavior of operators when they're working with your objects in Python. You're sitting there going, what? Wait, what? Well, let me give you a demonstration. This might be one of those things where it's easy. Let's go ahead and create a class sword today. Actually, be capital S, so we should be pretty efficient. We'll go kind of traditional here. We'll do our little init here, just kind of going old school. And let's see, we'll do the name of the sword, and of course, we'll do damage. I don't know, D-A-M-A-G. That sounds pretty good to me. Of course, we don't do that in Python, and we make sure everything's got a nice little space. We'll initiate the initial default damage, and of course, sword of truth. I don't know, keep it simple like that. So we'll do our usual self.name business equals name. Of course, self.damage equals damage. Self.damage equals damage, and it looks pretty groovy real quick. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and do something very dangerous here. I'm going to go ahead and create myself a sword, Excalibur. Excalibur, I never will spell that correct. And we'll call it a sword, and of course, the name of this one is Excalibur, duh. And of course, damage is 999, because why not? Now, let's say we want to print Excalibur for a second here. We want to come in here and say Excalibur, like this. And if we were to go ahead and run this code up at the top, what you would do is you get all this nasty stuff, because basically we're trying to take our object, our Excalibur object, which is a sword, and we're trying to print it, which of course is going to tell us all these lovely details here. Now, the interesting thing is, I don't want it to do that. I want it to instead print the details of that object. So you say, oh, I can do that. That's easy. Give me a second. I can do that. I'd come up here and I'd say, show details. I pass myself. I print the sword. Well, we want to do this. Actually, we'll just do a return here. Return F, sword, name, and we do something like this, self.name, just like that. And then, of course, damage. Again, we keep it self.damage, just like that. And it looks pretty good. So now, of course, that we created our little method here, we'd have to come down here, we'd have to do show details like that, and we'd have to run it like that. And you can see here that it correctly shows us that we have Excalibur, duh, and of course the damage is 999. So it works pretty well, Now you can see here that this is a little tedious. So of course, you've been paying attention all along. You've been following through all my videos. And again, 500 hours of Python shrunk into 5 minutes. And you're sitting here going, oh, I know a cooler way to do it. I could come up here and make this an app property. I could go like this. And now I don't even have to put the parenthesis on it because I can go like this. And you're like, oh, look at you. That's cool. You could even go even harder on it. You could do one of these things like that. Now make this details like that. And you run it like that. And you're like, oh, look at that. Now I could just do Excalibur.details and just print that. Bam. That's awesome. Isn't that cool? I mean, like, you can't get better than that. I mean, I'm Pythoning so hard right now. Now, the interesting thing is that we actually have the ability to overload the operators. And we can actually go even funner on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run back up here. And of course, if you need to take a look at this, you can look at it. I'm actually going to delete all this because I'm going to be naughty here. And the only way I can be naughty is by doing it. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to come down here and type in something unique. I'm going to type in def _str self. So what I am doing here, bark, is what I'm doing here is I am overriding the string operators with this class and object. That means if I come in here and did something silly and typed in return, we'll do the same thing. Let's see, name, we'll do self.name, of course, damage, self.damage. Now watch this, and this is one of the coolest things. If I come down here now, if I now type in print Excalibur, your brain expects to get all that cool object stuff. But when I run it, you'll observe that instead of printing all that cool object stuff, it instead prints this out instead, because it's smart enough to know that when I'm printing Excalibur, my object called Excalibur, what I'm really going to do is overload the operator and go ahead and do the string operator. See how cool that is? So let's go ahead and do this again. Now, you don't just have to do this with string operators. You also have the ability, of course, to make sure you have your own operators. For example, I could do addition. So I could come in here, I could do add, for example, type in self. And let's see here. If we add two swords together, what is that going to do? Oh, that's kind of messy, actually. I got to think about how this one's going to go here. Now, whenever you're doing add, you actually need two parameters in here. You need yourself, and you also need your other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here. I'm going to type in other. There's a fun little keyword here. You're basically saying, hey, Python, other simply respects the other thing I'm adding to it. And again, you don't have to use other here. You could do other sword if you want to be more specific. We do something like this if it's more clear to you. So whatever you're going to return if we try to add two swords together? Well, in my opinion, we should return a better sword. So let's go ahead and return. We're going to use my own sword here. All right, how are we going to do it? So we're going to combine the two names together. That's pretty easy. Self.name plus, we'll do slash, and I'll do plus, this will be other sword dot name. That's accurate. Okay, so now we need comma. So now we need the damage. Oh boy, this will be fun. We'll do self.damage plus other sword.damage. Oh, this is going to be so much fun to play with. And let's see here. So we're returning a sword object that combined the two swords into one. Let's try it. So what I'm going to do is create another sword. Oh man, I need to remember another cool sword name. Oh yeah, Sting. I forgot about that sword. All right, sword, the name here is going to be Sting. The damage here is going to be 500. Now watch this. Actually, I'll stop printing Excalibur here. I'm going to add those two swords together. Now your brain's going, you can't do that. You can't do that. You're a madman. Well, watch me. Excalisting equals, watch this. So now I can do Excalibur. I can just add them together. Excalibur plus Sting. Oh, Excalisting. I love that. So let's go ahead and come down here and print Excalisting. Run. Ta-da! I've actually created myself a sword that's an addition between the two swords. So as you can see, these operator overloading is so powerful. And there's a whole list of these, not including, we can do subtraction, we can do multiplication, and all these other built-in methods that give you the ability to do really, really silly things like make the Excalisting here, which is a pretty high damage sword because I'm able to combine the two. Enjoy.